Yo, what's up, guys? Milan finally got themselves a new left back, signing Pervis Estupiñán from Brighton and Hove Albion, guys, in a deal worth 17 million euros plus 2 million in bonuses, guys. Estupiñán will sign a contract till 2029 with an option for another year till 2030, making 2 million euros in wages, guys. Now, guys, what can I say about this deal for Pervis Estupiñán? I think it's a good deal by Milan, getting the deal under 20 million euros, of course, obviously getting less than what Brighton had asked for. Brighton had asked for 23 million euros, of course. So for Milan to get it mostly for 19 million euros combined with bonuses and fixed fee, I think it's a really good deal for Milan, guys. Now, obviously, Estupiñán has had a little bit of injury history, of course. Now, in the 23-24 season, he only played 19 matches, guys. So obviously, there's a bit of concern there with his injury history. But in his first year at Brighton, he had played 35 matches, so that's really good. Of course, then obviously, like I mentioned, he had the injury. He had a major thigh injury in the 23-24 season. And then after he came back and played 30 matches last year in this previous season, of course, for Brighton. So he played 84 matches at 114 games, guys. So obviously you wish the player could stay a little bit more healthy, of course, in his stint with Milan coming up. Of course, now Milan are obviously playing once a week, so there's a positive there. Now, obviously not playing in Champions League isn't a positive, but Milan playing once a week, this player can get his feet wet, get his acclimatized to the team. I like the signing, of course. He's obviously a little bit better defensively than Theo Hernandez, of course. Now, obviously losing Theo Hernandez, we don't expect Estupiñán to come in and do exactly what Theo Hernandez did, of course. But if he comes in, plays strong defensively, doesn't try to do what Theo did, I think he'll be very good for Milan. He can put in decent balls, of course. He has pace. I've seen some videos where he could score some goals in there. He scored a couple goals in the year where he only played 19 matches. He scored a couple goals the year prior, of course. So he could score there. Obviously, that's not his main attribute, of course. His pace, playing strong defensively are a couple key attributes that Milan are signing this player, of course. Now, obviously, he wasn't the first choice for Milan. Obviously, we all know about the story, what happened with Archie Brown and Milan sending a plane to Belgium, of course, trying to convince the player to sign there for 8 million euros. He chose to sign with Fenerbahce, of course. Now, obviously, I wish the best to him, but picking Fenerbahce over AC Milan is a bit of a questionable decision if you guys ask me. But all the best to Archie Brown. I think Milan are better off signing a player with a little more certainty. And Estupiñán, of course, he's obviously captain his club, his country in Ecuador, of course. So he's got some experience in leadership there. So I think he's a way more better signing than Milan with more certainty, like I mentioned, more experience, of course. So I think this benefited Milan that Archie Brown picked Fenerbahce over Milan. Now, obviously, guys, there's some other positions that Milan need to fill. They need to get another center back, a right back, of course. Now, there was obviously some talk about Mark Pubil playing from Almeria, of course, but it seems like he's going to be heading to England, playing for Wolves. Milan were a little bit hesitant regarding his injury history, of course, as well. Obviously, Milan weren't as concerned with Estupiñán's injury history compared to Pubil, who obviously had his deal last year with Atalanta, obviously collapsing, of course, because he didn't pass his medical. So Milan are looking at Joel Adoué, of course, but Strasbourg want like 30 million. Milan don't seem to be willing to offer that kind of money. Of course, we all know how Milan's management operates, of course. So Milan have to offer at least 25 million euros if Strasbourg won't even think about selling Joel Adoué, of course. Now, obviously, another player that we all know that Milan are lowballing on, of course, or we could say haven't offered enough money, of course, is Arden Jashari. Of course, Milan have not budged on their offer of 32.5 million euros plus 5 million bonuses to Brugge. And now Brugge and Milan are at a stalemate, of course. You got Brugge's captain running his mouth, saying Milan should offer 40 for the player. Brugge were in Milan negotiating with Inter for their player Stankovic. They're saying they're not going to comment. And then their captain starts commenting. It's an absolute bloody mess right now. The player has made his desires clear. His head is in Italy, of course. He does not want to play for Brugge anymore. He wants to play for his club that he's been dreaming of playing for in AC Milan for all these years. And this club here is playing hardball now. I think the player will eventually come, guys, but this is absolutely ridiculous how the negotiations have gone down. I think Milan, if they had just offered 35 plus 5, this player would have been in Milan already. Of course, Brugge, I think they're ridiculous for holding this player hostage. Should have let this kid leave already and come to Milan. But obviously, they're playing hardball. I think eventually they will come to an agreement. This player will come, but it's been absolutely frustrating seeing what has transpired, of course. But this is how this management operates. We have seen how they operate, guys. They just cannot offer a club the exact money they want. They got to lowball them a couple, $2 to $3 million, and hold on, and hopefully the desire of the player is the biggest factor in why they want to come to the club. It is so frustrating, guys, sometimes to see how this club and how the management negotiates, of course, but I think the player will eventually come. Of course, Estupiñán wanted to come to Milan. He pushed Brighton to accept Milan's offer. That was the main thing, is that he wanted to come. So his agent, Georgie Mendes, obviously involved in the deal, pushed Brighton to accept. Great job by him to get the deal done for Milan. Now, obviously, they got to look for another striker, of course, because Jimenez is the only guy right now. He's on vacation. Camar de Galona to Lecce. So Milan have a lot of players they got to sell as well. Bring in some guys to help this squad get better, of course. Playing once a week is a big benefit, of course. I think Estupiñán will help this team, guys. Barring any injuries, of course, if he could stay healthy and be durable, I think this club did a really good job signing this player for less than 20 million euros, guys. But hopefully this management speeds it the hell up, get some players into the squad. We're in the middle of July. Milan's in Singapore right now, got some preseason matches, of course. Hopefully they can get some players in so they can get acclimatized to the squad, get Allegri's tactics sorted out, so when they play in that Coppa Italia match the week before the Serie A season, there isn't any confusion and this team looks ready to go to compete for maybe a Scudetto and a Champions League spot, guys. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. But I think this is a very good signing by Milan by getting Estupiñán. But guys, tell me your opinion and comments in the comment section. I think it's a good signing, guys. That's it for this video today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Forza Milan sempre, as always, guys. Remember, if you do not watch sports, you're more. Ciao, guys.